Welcome to AniMirror, the podcast where the wisdom of the animal kingdom meets the depth of self-awareness.
We're your hostesses, Dr. Melissa Sell and Amy Michelle. Together, we explore the profound ways animals reflect our inner world and reveal the patterns shaping our lives.
Through the lens of the 5 biological laws of the Germanic healing knowledge, we uncover the deeper truths behind our experiences and how they can guide us towards healing and growth.
We mix a little woo-woo with biology. We're responding to the call of the wild, attuning to the frequency of nature that Dr. Homer himself called Quintessence. Whether you're curious about the underlying meaning behind your pets or frankly any animal's behavior, intrigued by nature's synchronicities, or seeking to break free from cycles of suffering, you're in the right place at the right time.
Each episode is an invitation to expand your awareness, discover new perspectives, and embrace the transformative power of the mirror animals and nature hold up for us.
So, come wildly curious and dare to open your heart in community out loud with us. And let's explore the fascinating interplay between the outer and inner worlds.
Welcome to
AniMirror, the new frontier.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the AniMirror podcast. Today, we are meeting with Tracy, and she's going to be sharing with us a story about a growth on her dog's face and how she watched the whole process of it heal on its own. And so, welcome, Tracy. We're so excited to have you and to hear this amazing story.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is great. Yeah, it's been a very interesting journey to watch my dog. He's now 16 years old. So when this actually happened, he would have been about 14 and a half, nearly 15. And it actually kind of started a few years ago because he actually developed some cauliflowers first in his ear. And what was really interesting about that, it was actually on the ear where I'd had a situation where somebody had moved in and somebody was very negative. And guess which side of did my little doggy was listening to all the negative stuff. And then because this situation was a little bit more dire in the fact that an older person that moved in, wasn't drinking their water and was getting terribly dehydrated. So there may have been a few little grindy moments where there was a few arguments, just to be honest, about drink your water, for goodness sakes, just drink the water. And within this process, he is also a very big absorber, because literally that's me. That was who I was at the time. I was like absorbing everybody's emotions. So of course, he actually absorbs everybody's emotions too. So that was kind of the first really big change that I noticed. Was like very fast did those cauliflowers come up in his ears. So that's okay. Or I'm like, well, that's really weird. But he's an older dog, and you hear about these lumps and bumps and things that are always on the dog's ears. So I didn't think much of it until the big sort of healing thing came. Now, I had heard about German new medicine. I was just touching on it because I actually do kinesiology. So I actually work with animals. I actually tap in, find the emotion, release them. So I'm working on my dog, for years, actually, releasing emotions, not understanding that I was releasing the emotion and starting the process of healing. Well, I tapped into something really big when I actually started this whole thing. And of course, the very first thing that kind of happened was that the side of his face all went black. So it actually was all this really black stuff. And then the next thing that happened was the hair fell out. Right. So down went the hair, and he started, oh, that's right. I think his face blew up like 3 times the size, right? Everybody's looking at the dog, everyone's looking at me, and they're going, take the dog to the vet, take the dog to the vet. And I said, listen, I know what I do. I sit very solid in it, and I'm trusting this journey. So I just kept following the process that where okay, this is what's going to happen. So I had the trust in it and I kept going. So then the next thing, it was pretty gross. It broke through the side of his face. And there was a great big, like a tunnel, literally a tunnel in the side of his face. Meanwhile, he was a little demented because at some stage the edema was built up in the brain and he was doing like really odd things. At one stage, he was staring at the back of the lounge like this. He's going, I'm thinking, okay. He had to put pillows everywhere because he had no balance. He just falling over and doing and drooling. But it seemed to me as once that busted through, everything started to calm down. And honestly, Melissa, you wouldn't believe it. When I looked in, gross as it is, the side of there, I saw the most beautiful, shiniest, smoothest skin in there. And I was like, and I could see the fascia, and I'm like, how? What? What? What did I just see? What did I just experience? And so therefore I'm talking within 5 days, right? The 5 day process of all that happening, and then it shut. It closed over, and I thought, why do we get stitches? Like, why do we get stitches? If that's what this 15-year-old dog can actually do, but what I was doing the whole time was because he is a dog and he doesn't understand the process. So I was working with him all the time, removing any anxiety, anything that he was, continuing to put on so that wouldn't actually block, create a hanging healing, create something like that. So it was amazing. I've never seen anything like it. So virtually what I've got is a dog with a different ear, right? I've got this cartilage in this ear is like sitting right up. It's like it's strong. It's like ready for the next time. That is not going to happen, sort of thing. So that was just amazing. And he is in the healing. He's in another one right now. I actually
Mhm.
put him in another one right now where it's nowhere near as big because that was obviously a big conflict that he was going through that he had before. But this time, I was working on the myelin sheath, and it was a touch conflict. Now, what happens, of course, as you know, you get one conflict, it crosses over, you get another conflict. And because we bandaged him up, and of course, everybody wants to touch a dog on the ear, don't they? Like, oh, what a lovely doggy, petty, petty, petty. And then, of course, when he was very sensitive, he would yelp. And of course, everyone was frightened by it. And so, therefore, yeah, so that kind of happened. But now I'm dealing with the touch conflict. And of course, we had to spend so much time, like we bandaged it up and we'd put Manuka honey, we'd do all the natural stuff for him as well. But it's kind of like too much touching, especially when you're older. It's like, oh, you're kidding me. Oh, could you just let me rest? Give me a break. Anyway, so it got to the stage where I realized something wasn't right with him in the fact that he would hurt himself, but he had numbness, which is basically, and I think that should hurt. You should have had a reaction, but there was this numbness that therefore when I started looking up the myelin sheath and the touch conflict and how the body then will compensate by this numbness, I thought, aha, let's have a little look at that one. So he's actually doing similar now, but not as severe. So yeah, that's the story of Ted the Moodle. He's a Moodle. He's
What did you say his name's Ted?
Teddy, yeah, Teddy. And he's a Moodle. He's a cross between a poodle and a Maltese.
Teddy the Moodle. We love it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, so
Mm.
so there was both adaptation on the ear, you said, and the cheek.
He had sarcoma. He had actually a cancer. When I tested it up, it was actually a sarcoma, and it was just under the ear.
Okay.
Mm.
And is that what I saw in the pictures? The
Yes, yeah,
okay.
yes. Yeah, that was the whole part. I'm wondering if that's the tunnel where it sort of started from there.
Okay. Okay. And so, yeah, so sarcoma, anything with the connective tissue, that's like a self-devaluation conflict. And
Mhm.
so, and was it on his right or left? Under which ear was it?
On the left side, yeah.
Okay. And then do you know his handedness, his pawedness?
I think he's right.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty well. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then yeah, so you said you mentioned the cauliflowers on the ear as well. So this and you associated that with the person who had moved in and hearing a lot of things I don't want to hear, a lot of arguments about drinking the water and all of that. Now with specifically with the sarcoma, did you identify the conflict? Was it about the same sort of situation?
Yes, yeah, yes. Yeah, he wasn't used to that environment
Mm,
at all, but he also was absorbing what was happening to the person that moved in because he was frail. He's like, nearly 80 and had a stroke.
mm,
So he was kind of doing what I was doing, feeling sorry for him in a lot of ways and absorbing a lot of his emotions.
mm. Yeah, and that's really what we like to look at and hear. It's like, ooh, so what's the mirror? What was the dog? What's Teddy showing us about the situation? Is it about you and how how I was feeling? I'm feeling devalued. I'm not feeling able,
Mm,
capable of supporting this person, right? It's feeling very difficult. I feel like I'm not doing enough. I need to be doing more because the devaluation, it's about my capacity, my ability. If I feel that I'm unable to support, right? If I'm feeling not capable, the biology goes through this process of, okay, well, we're going to melt that tissue away. And,
yes.
this develops into a big,
Mm.
ugly adaptation, right? And then we go through. So, did you identify what the resolution was? So, obviously, it had to resolve to get to this point of, when we got to that point of maximum swelling and it busted open and you've got this edema. I just am so impressed that and how important it is to have this knowledge because most people, if their dog's got some big, thing going on their, underneath the ear and they've got swelling and you're like, this dog's wobbling around. I mean, that dog would be in the vet, that dog would be on medication, that dog would be, very quickly sucked into the system, which unfortunately, costs, thousands of dollars and
Oh,
usually ends very, very badly.
I think they just would have put him down, actually. I really knew that. That was the one thing on my mind. So no, 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 not at all. I'll tell you what I believe that the change was that I sold the house. I actually sold the house and I removed the situation for a while, but it came back because he then ended up in another house where Teddy ended up being as well. Right. So this is hence where it did come back. And
Yep.
I actually had round two. Wasn't as bad as round one, but it did. The sarcoma itself actually came back again. And so we went through a smaller part of it, the healing, and it's gone completely now, has been gone for a while. But that's because I've changed. That is me, all me, because I actually stepped back and stopped being the rescuer, grew through that situation, saw it for what it was, and went, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And I know how much that he looks to me, and we've been together on some really heavy things. Him and I have been through, so I realized it's me. It's me. As I do in a lot of things now, I go, "Oh, that was me." Yeah, so
Oh,
that probably
brilliant.
would change. Mm.
Yeah, and that's really why this podcast exists and why we're so delighted to have stories like yours because really it is. It's all these animals are just these unconditional loving mirrors who will show us where we keep getting into situations, keep taking on too much, and the animals are just they will show it to us. And if we resolve it and we get back into the same situation, they'll say, "I'll do it again. I will show this to you
Yes.
again." I'm willing to sacrifice my tissues and adapt so that you can see
Yeah.
in, vividly right in your face the
Yeah.
unresolved, the part of you that is stuck and hasn't learned the lesson, hasn't evolved, hasn't moved and grown, right? So isn't that so interesting that selling the house, and this is often a very practical change, so we sell the house and it's like, okay, the dynamics are different. And it's like, ooh, but here we are. Well, we've landed in a very similar, oh, isn't this, Groundhog's Day? We're back here. I'm back feeling this way. I'm devaluing again. And dog shows, Tracy sees, and she changes. And so you said, oh, the reason this is different is because I have changed. Oh,
Mm.
that's the juice, right? That's
Yeah.
like, that is what this is
Mm.
all about, is like, what did I need to see? And,
Yeah.
God bless
Yeah.
Teddy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the gift he deserved. He deserved that. So, I mean, I know this because I actually work on humans too. The work that I do is by releasing trapped emotions and removing them from the humans as well. So, of course, I was doing the work on myself quite a bit at that stage to really have to look at this situation. And we have to look from above, don't we? We come out, and the trouble is the conscious mind only takes in what, tiny little bit of, it's all sitting on subconscious mind. So we've got to tap into that. So that's what I do. I tap into the subconscious mind, and I tapped into his just to get the answers, to get the true answers. Um, he is such an absorber that he would actually copy this older man that had a stroke. He started limping up the stairs, right? And because he's paralyzed on one leg. Be watching next we'd see him like he'd do this spin as if his leg was paralyzed. Now, listen, you know, that's a little bit of a, act kind of thing. No, okay. But that's how much that he mirrors, of what's going on around in his environment. So we're working hard for Teddy at the moment because what I wanted for him being 16 now was to have peace at the end of his life. And you know what? My guest that's been following me, lovely man, but he says the same thing. Oh, I just want peace at the end of my life. And I'm like, well, you could try giving it. That'd be really great. But he doesn't know how. So I work on him too. So now we've got to a nice we're getting to a nice peaceful place
Beautiful.
for Ted and us.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions for you, Tracy. When you refer to kinesiology, are you speaking about doing just for the listeners that have dabbled with us maybe before? You're talking about muscle testing and probably emotion code. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, yes, I do. What I do is the emotion code, the body code, and trauma, and also having the German new medicine. I will use that chart. So I'm implementing it into my practice big time because I realized even using the emotion and body code, it was awesome, and it changed my life. But there was people with bigger traumas. There was people with bigger things. And I knew there's a missing link here. I'm like, I'm not just going to sit in the box of that. I don't sit in any box. I'm like, what's next? What's next? And then when I found the German new medicine, I was like, what? Where? Why? How? So I actually started just looking at it basically myself and because I'm able to tap into it, I'm able to actually go to the original. Like this is what I do in across the board. I'm going to the original first to release it from there so someone can heal. So that just married with what I do anyway. So now I'll use the chart. I'll get my clients and I'll just go through the A to Z. They go, what's the program that you're actually running? I mean, I had a client that actually had she'd had the heart attack. She'd had a heart attack, right? And I said to her, well, we're going to be very gentle with this. We have to be very gentle with, as you know, that some of the healings they can be very quite hard on people, and you've got to be careful. But the reason my work works so well is because I come in and I'm like a sandwich. I'm like I layer off above, and then I layer off underneath. So when I do a healing, I've got you. I've got you here, right? So what I'm finding with my clients, then the healings aren't as severe because of the layering system that I've been doing and working. And I'll only ask their permission, is it okay that I do the German new medicine? Even, is your body able to do this healing now? Well, because forced healings, you're better off not healing than have a forced healing. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing. So it's been amazing. So I actually put the lady through the heart one, and I spent the whole week basically with her every time she got nervous or anxious, because she's like, I think I'm having the next heart attack. And I'm like, calm down. You're not having the next heart attack, not with me around. So I would layer off all the anxiety and all the other things. And she's off medication. It's just brilliant. It's just the most amazing thing. But I knew there was something more that needed to happen, and it was this. So I'm very excited to be doing it. Mhm.
Couldn't agree more. We've been dabbling in this ourselves off camera. I do body code and emotion code, and we had the same conversation. Wait, there's this connection. I mean, you can't deny it. And of course, you're in a place where there is no box. And Melissa said in the beginning, whether we free flow here, even in this container, whatever is meant to come through comes through. And that's the kind of the fun of the AniMirror bridge. We take GNM and we kind of walk over the bridge together and see what are they mirroring around them and what is it about for me. And you touched upon something, like I heard the ding, which is you said, I trust the process, which is why you allowed the permission, the flow with Teddy to go through the natural, GNM came in and your muscle testing along the way, and there's this resonance and the trust in the process, and I think you maybe said the journey. And so joy is in the word journey. So you're
Yeah.
trusting the flow of joy that's maybe trapped behind some other things in our mind, behind stories, and you're holding the container for what needs to be flipped upside down or right side up and then kind of released. And the story about the woman with the heart attack sounds like, and all the others perhaps that you work with, and I resonate with this. There is not a need anymore in the mind to find evidence of, well, something actually happened and her work actually works, because you resonate with, I trust the joy of the journey, I trust the process. So therefore, they're going to reflect that to you, whether it's Teddy or a human client. It's the ease. We're moving into the ease and the peace and the flow, and not having to say, well, the no pain, no gain that's just not here. We're releasing that story. So I heard that, and another question I'm curious about is, did he come with the name Teddy, or did you name him Teddy?
I named him. I named him Teddy, and when I picked him, I sat for a long time and I watched him. And this probably makes the difference with this dog. He is unique. And I watched this dog. He wasn't interested in his brothers and sisters. He would do this. Human. Ah, human. He wanted to be separate even from his brothers and sisters. He would. So I was like very similar. I'm like, oh, human. So it's kind of like we both were like looking for the external all the time anyway. So we sort of matched up. I'm like, oh, I want that dog. I want that one.
Um, you mentioned that I don't know the exact age. You said before the current, so he's currently 16, and this healing resolution was around 14 and a half, 15, but before that was whatever his age. Do you remember when the cauliflower adaptation happened in the ear?
Yeah, that would have been probably 2 or 3 years before
So
the
maybe 12.
cauliflowers. Yeah, yeah. I reckon it'd be around then. Yeah, for sure.
Have you done any testing? And the reason I ask is because it sounds like it's come back, like a 2.0 version of it has come back, just lesser. So the
Mm,
sort of hanging healing, maybe
mm.
different version of it. Have you muscle tested or thought in your own stories? of your own 12 years old
Oh,
and what
horrendous.
he
Yeah. Easy. Yeah. Pretty crappy. Yeah.
so something in that dynamic of the mirror, like there's another piece that needs to be almost
Yeah.
right side to write it is what do
Yes.
I need to hear now that I didn't hear then, that
Yeah.
he's showing me like we're almost there,
Mm.
and I'm not going to let go of this until we really kind of write the path or fuse it or release it, almost to go back to that part, that story
Mm.
of that 12-year-old and say, okay, well, I can see it here. It's come full circle. That's the
Mm.
fun of the joy for me of walking that Animere Bridge is it's the teddy bear that I maybe needed at that time
Mm.
is here in front of me and saying, there's we have something else. We have more work to do, like Paddington Bear almost esque. And so what can we do together? And you have all of the tools now, which we would offer to people, the muscle testing or even just bringing in IFS. I don't know if you're familiar with internal family systems, but what part of me, of my psyche, my mental psyche, what part of me is still hanging
Yes.
on or viewing that story on
Yeah.
the screen? And
Yes.
how can I integrate or finally release that teddy bear so that this teddy can, show me something else, which is peace now,
Yeah.
not at the end. So
Yeah.
even that mirrors, we don't have
Mm.
to wait till the end for that, but
Mm.
that's what we're told, right? You can have it at the end when you've done
Yeah.
all the things. But why not now?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think that that kind of marries like what there's something else that I've done is maps. I'm not sure if you ever heard of maps. Well, I've done a session on him on behalf of him. So it's interesting that you're saying that because it's like, well, I'll into him and I'll go through the higher the higher subconscious mind, and I'll go through the process with it, but with him, attached to him, with him in mind, so that it actually can basically come in, destroy some of those memories that he's had. Yeah. So
Even in the word destroys story, I just heard it
yeah.
in that word. So you're tapping into the story to release,
Yes.
that destroy, release the story and walk with the 12-year-old of you and the 12-year-old of him, the version of Teddy,
Yeah.
hand in hand. So when you go in as him, you're him and you're you at
Yeah.
the same time. That's the fun of literally diving into the story
Mm.
of and going back in time and
Mm.
and saying, okay, what can we release?
Mm.
Where do we need to leave him or her? Meaning, we've dragged the 12-year-old self forward into the storyline. That's why I'm still kind of seeing it,
Yeah.
right? And so now, yeah, now it becomes anyway for me a little bit more fun in the investigative process. Like, wow, do I do
Yes.
I need to drag her forward any further? Can I leave her there? If I leave a version of her with Teddy, is that gonna, well, what does
Yeah.
she still need to know or hear from me, or what do I need to hear or know from her? All the dynamics of the ear and the canal and save, I don't need to save face anymore. Even that kind of comment,
Yeah.
phrase comes up. So fun. This is so, it's
It
magnificent
is.
to be able to experience, through you. And I saw the pictures, we'll post them, but I saw Melissa shared the pictures of Teddy. Um,
Yeah.
it's courageous to face
Yes.
our shifts
Yeah.
outside of ourselves and not, run,
Yeah.
um, needing to do anything, honoring this is an adaptation and I trust this,
Yeah.
whatever this is. And with releasing the need to,
Yeah.
other than just sitting with.
It's the expert when I'm working with anybody and with Teddy. The reason why I had so much trust, because I trust the expert. It's the expert in him. There's no outer, that's stronger than the expert in him. So I'm tapping into the expert. If I work with a client, I'm out the door, as you know.
Mm.
We don't enter it. We are literally connected to you, and you are the expert. So where are all the answers? In you. So why would I go anywhere else? Why would I ask anyone? I've got gold sitting here. So, if you want to know, they're all in there. So we're translators. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And some of us have been translating without doing this work for years, like, basically been reading people and reading changes in people for a long time, and that's how I grew up. So when I walked into this work, it was like, hello, I'm home. I can do it much better because I really did learn that I don't have to rescue anyone anymore, that they are the expert, and that's where the power is. It really is. So it's awesome. Awesome work. Got to spread the word. Got to
Agreed.
spread the word. This thing's
I heard God
incredible.
has spread the word, and then you and I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Through the dog. That's the flip. That's the expert you're talking about. I've never heard it called that, and I love that so
And
much.
I only said to Teddy, I said, Teddy, you're the way. Because when I saw this whole process, I was in such awe of my dog to have the ability to heal where so many people write people off. We write the animals off. We the words we say to them. It's also important, isn't it? So I actually went to Teddy and I said, you're just such a legend. You are the top healer. You're top of your class. You're rocking it. So any healings from here and now, he's like, I got this. Hey, I got this. I got this. Someone's telling me he's good. I'm good, Mum. You can do it. It's like he's given me permission. Like this dog still does zoomies. Like he's like running like crazy dog. He's zoomies. He does stairs. He does. Everyone goes, oh, what a lovely puppy. I said, oh no, he's 16. He's past puppy. And it's just because he's got that thing going on, because and if I see the change, hey, I'm just in there. I'm like, you don't have to suffer with that. And that's what I want people to know. Don't sit in it. People, stop sitting in your suffering and your pain. There's pain, as we know, for the right reason. There's pain for the wrong reason, isn't there? And most of us sit in the pain for the wrong reasons and not understanding what the healing looks like. What does healing look like? Well, it's not pretty. It's not pretty a lot of the times. So this education program we need to really get this out. And that's something that I'm working on at the moment for my clients, and to provide more, because we've been given one way, and that's been it. So now we have to rewire our brains basically to the correct healing way of healing. So this is awesome. I'm loving it.
Yeah, may we remember the expert that is within.
Yes.
That's kind of where it's not even maybe, rewiring is the one phrase, and the other one is let's just remember, like you did. Like, wait,
Yeah.
Teddy, you're the expert. The expert's within you, with of course this mirroring the expert within us. And so can we
Yeah.
trust that? or
Mm.
will we be detoured by the thought pattern, the belief system BS? That's what I call,
Yeah. Yeah.
that we've been conditioned, informed, institutionalized with. Can we free ourselves of that by just choosing another path, literally on the road? We were talking about this not too long ago about the suffering is in the you're is the standing. I'm not doing anything. The no choice, which is a choice, but it's a choice to stand still, but it's a different standstill. It's not sit in stillness and receive. It's the sort of like, which way do I go? I'm just chasing my
Yeah.
tail, but I haven't gone one way or another. And now I'm sitting in suffering, which is the delay
Mm.
of just it doesn't matter which way you go.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
will be fine because the expert is within and you're being guided outside of yourself. So it's spot on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
it.
then the other thing that comes up too, and with Teddy, is the genetic side. So of course you've got this other side that actually comes in, and his father was highly strung, like real. strong, So often when I'm working with Teddy, I'm like, oh, well, yes, he's Kenny. Kenny was his name, and he was orange, color like Teddy is, and very similar. So, even with myself and my clients, I think we start layering off and we start layering off, and sometimes the core for a lot of people is our genetic defect that gets passed down, which again puts you on that path. So it literally, like I've failure in my genetics, and I can run forward as me. I can solid. I know what I'm doing, and then it's like my father just whacks me out of the chair, runs in the door, and says, "No, no, play it safe. Play it safe. Stay here. Stay here." So I notice when I've done a lot of work with Teddy is releasing those sort of genetic side as well. Which where do you get that? Where can you actually destroy that? Because it's only memories, as you know. They're just the memories. Everyone thinks you're born with these diseases and everything. You're born with the memory of somebody else's diseases and pain and all that too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I even see, even that, like I can't even see any of that as dysfunction. It's all adaptation. So if there is a reason, oh, don't go and don't do things and like stay small, that was an adaptation. And
Yeah.
yes, it's like, did I, what, yes, I was informed by that because I came from you. And so part of your unresolved story still exists within me because of what I absorbed from you while I was incubating, while I was coming to be. And yes, it comes up and you notice it and yeah, what can I do with this? How is
Yeah.
this adaptation? This isn't mine. This served someone else, right?
Yeah.
And is there something that I can learn from this? How can I grow from this? And so yeah, it's like when there's something that's still present, I just need to see what purpose is this serving. The fifth biological law, nature doesn't do anything for no reason. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a function. Even if I see it as dis-ease or dysfunction, if I can see the adaptive wisdom in why
Mm.
was this necessary for someone at some, and that's the thing is every single biological program is this adaptation helps somebody stay alive. And staying
Mm.
alive, right? Survival and reproduction are the imperatives of nature. And so everything that we say, oh, this is terrible. This is maladaptive. No, it is adaptive. It might not be the loveliest thing, but it is an adaptation. And so when I can see the purpose it served, and I can see that that's no longer it's a conflict is resolved when it can't happen again, when I can laugh about it, when it's just like, oh, that so clearly is about you and your life. This isn't about me and my life. Then the program can complete, it can resolve, or how you're phrasing it as destroying the memory. That is simply, I have integrated so deeply the knowledge of this and I have evolved, I have grown so that this is no longer relevant to me. Then I'm free from the conflict. And so this is what, people who are journeying through figuring your stuff out, figuring out your own conflicts, using your animals and their stuff to see, deeper about yourself. It's like, ooh, who did this serve at some point? Is this serving me? Did this serve a small version of me, right? Did I have to adapt when I was 3, 4, years old, 12 years old? And is this still relevant? How does this still show up? Am I still putting myself in and attracting unconsciously? Because yeah, anything that's stored within, you are going to be drawn to the same people, the same types of people, the same dynamics, the same situations, because it's like, are we going to learn it this time? Are we going to up level this time? And when you can look at life as that sort of game and you look at this programming and you look at your ancestry and you see, ooh, I'm the one, right? I'm the chosen one. I'm the one that's going to learn the lesson and resolve the program and complete this level of experience. And there's always going to be more levels, more things to learn. We're not trying to arrive, and we're here for the journey, right? We're here for the ride. We're here for the
Yeah.
the things that come up in
Yes.
the course of life, which is all beautiful and fun. But it is great to get out of the loop, and not sit in the suffering. Yeah, there's some pain that comes with growth, like you said. It's like, so there's choose your pain of sitting in it
Mhm.
for years and years,
Yeah.
passing it down to your descendants so they have to deal with it, or go through the pain of seeing it. Like often that's the struggle, right? Like, am I radically willing to see, oh my gosh, I'm doing that. Oh my gosh, that's me. There's pain there, right? Because it's the death of an illusion of who I thought that I was. It's identity, right? So much of conflict comes down to I have identified with this thing that happened to me, and it is so hard for me to even witness, to see this is who I believe that I am, right? And that does it. There's a freedom, but also, this, depending on how tightly you're gripping onto that false identity, it can be painful to see, oh, and
Mm.
so go through it. We invite you to go through it. Let that, because that kind of pain that grows into something beautiful, right? But if you keep gripping, I mean, people do it last day. They hold on, they carry it over, and they.
This is where the expert walks in and we receive it. And Melissa knows it happens from time to time. It's perfect. We leave it all in. So Melissa's been paused by the expert is
Yes.
sitting in our field. Oh,
Oh, he's gone now.
and the expert has made you the host. I love it. We are, the expert walked in, Melissa.
Death and resurrection. I'm back.
I'll take over. It's all good. I got this.
I love it. The screen actually made Tracy the host too, which I love. The host walked in.
Uh,
All right, have a rest, Melissa. It's all right.
Brilliant.
I have
Wonderful.
Yeah.
a detailed question through the GNM, healing process. So conflict to the crisis, to the healing, to the resolution. Um, when something like a tumor or a mass expresses, there's usually a stink, a smell when the fourth biological comes in, and the essence of the quintessence of was that part of the process for you and Teddy to
Oh,
not only see it but smell it and be able
yeah, I
to
think
sit with that.
well, I think it developed a stink conflict in mine.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Well, I was like getting quite offended. I'm like, oh, look, honey, I know you're going through some stuff, but really? What is that funky smell, you know? And at one stage there, he also had the cerebrospinal fluid coming out his ear as well. So
Ooh.
that was a different kind of a like, I'm like, what is that? So I tested that up and it was the spinal fluid. It came up for a little while, but it's so where he's at now, he started with the pus, and that was only yesterday morning. He started with that, but it didn't blow up as like it did, so I knew it was smaller. But then he's then the blood's coming through now. So the pus actually wasn't that much, and now I've noticed that he's got bits of the blood coming through now. So and he's just sleeping a lot and doing his thing. So I just go, you just do your thing. I'll just make sure you don't fall off things because because of that balance again. But see, I'm not sure whether the balance is well, I know it's a part of the healing, but I also know that it's part of things that are still here that are unbalanced.
Right?
So,
Yeah, his mirroring.
yeah.
I love his fake limp, that's
Yeah, he's good like that. Yeah, because somebody else wants some attention, so that's what he does. He'll hobble up the stairs like he's so frail, and then forgets and runs down them like a champion. And I'm like, you're a con, you're a con.
What you're pointing to is, and we've talked about this too somewhere, is the con is the consciousness of age. It literally is a number, and it's a frequency that we've grabbed onto. And I know this from my own pack, 17-year-old, and I think, no, forget it. There is no such
Yeah.
thing, which is made up. And so well, how old is she? Wow, she's doing really good for her age.
Yes. Oh,
Well,
annoying.
as you wish, and it means nothing. She's still, and even the way I speak, she's still riding alongside my bike. But no, she's riding alongside my bike, period. Isn't that even in my own language? I catch it. What do you mean still, Amy? Oh,
Yeah.
because of her age, or because, you're expecting her in the story to die at some point because, she's getting to that age, or what? So
Yeah. Yeah.
Teddy's already, kind of coming in and speaking to that. Like, yeah, I'll go up and down the stairs if I want to, or do this and what I want to. Stop
Do
putting an
whatever.
age on me. Age is just a number. We have all those phrases in our,
Yes.
normal
Yeah.
layman language that offers the code. It's made
Yes.
up.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Absolute limitations. Yeah. Absolutely. No, words are powerful.
Yeah.
Words are very, very powerful. So yeah, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. Like I said, I'm very thankful to him for what he's teaching me and showing me, and then in turn, it builds stronger for both of us and the people around him as well. There's a couple other people that he's had influence from. But his issue would be abandonment because I was adopted. So when I talk about the genetic side of it, it's like why it's so interesting to me is because I never had the connection to it. And what became so interesting was that how powerful it is considering I met them years like when I was in like nearly 30, and then saw, you know, I didn't grow up with these people. My goodness me. How do I know all this? How do I know to be that and be you and do that? And so yeah, that genetic side is fascinating, but I see him mirror my abandonment.
Mm.
There's a lot of abandonment issues that I was suffering from for a lot of his time. So yeah, he he still is a bit, doesn't want to be left alone. Sometimes we have a car issue, so we're working through all that sort of thing. But I'm just mindful of how much, just relying again on the expert and him. When are you ready for me to work with you, Teddy? You let me know and we'll work around it. Because other than that, he's happy. He's the most gentlest soul. Everybody's drawn to Ted. He's just got one of those little everyone wants to come to Ted because he's gentle. He doesn't understand. He doesn't care if you're a cat, if you're a bird. You're allowed to exist. And I guess that's the best bits that he's mirrored in me is that's exactly how I've walked through my life is like I don't care who you are, just exist and I want to love you. I want to connect. Oh, that's who I am. So it was always going to be a rough ride, Ted. Basically, if you're going to be mirroring that, it has its ups and downs too. So yeah, but beautiful, beautiful
He
boy.
has he has a beautiful little code in his name, YET. He's not done yet.
Yeah, you know,
So
you
there's more
know.
to come. I know you know that. And the
Yeah,
expert, whether the expert chooses, to leap into another consciousness to mirror more, it will never really be done. I think it's more like, oh, we're just getting started. We're just beginning yet again. There's always going to be that
yeah,
space there that's held
yeah,
for each of us in our own animirrors and each other in nature. What
yes,
what are you ready for now? Are you ready
yeah,
for the next level? Are you ready to move to the next, the frequency of the game, the thought pattern system? Yeah, we're
yeah,
there. I mean, we've all
yeah.
been waiting for the age to arrive, and it's arrived.
Oh yes,
It's
absolutely.
amped up. Here we go.
Mm. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, so that's where I look at him in that way. I've always looked at him as giving him that. You've got this. You've always got this. What do I worry about you for? You've got this. You actually got it better than me half the time. So you just keep doing you. Just do you because whatever you're doing is amazing. So I just back that up in him. And again, I'm fair to him. I'm also like mummy, like I'm mummy. Like there's a boundary, honey. There, I know what you tend to do, so I just have these really good, gentle boundaries with him as well, which he just feels so safe. He's just like, oh, thank you, because I was a little out of control with that one, and he just goes and settles. I mean, I've done work where he has been quite unsettled, and I'll just sit quietly. And this dog knows I'm working on him. That's how smart he is. He'll like be asleep, and then all of a sudden he can actually look up and go, "Oh, she's doing that thing, with her fingers, and she's doing that thing." He knows. Actually knows, and then he actually has this calmness. It will just get. It's amazing how fast it is. But I just look at him. I'm like, this is such a fast healing dog. Teddy is just designed to heal and he knows it. There's a part of him inside that he knows, all right, it's going to get rough here, but things are going to get better. Oh, it's going to get rough, it's going to get better. And he has this peace. I can see it. So it won't take long. He could be really restless and really whatever, and then I'll remove that, remove that. And he's like, oh, thanks, Mum. Thanks. That was great. Good job. Good work.
Good work, you. Looks like it looks and sounds, and I know for certain that you are doing all of the self-love for
Mm.
him in the mirror for you. And
Yes, I've
your willingness to, as you said, from your own, beginning story of life, well, you turned that right around. It was, here I am, the experts within me. I see it outside of me in my AniMirror, and the love you give and the work, the healing you do for him is you in the mirror saying, I love you, you got this. And
yeah,
here you
yeah,
are. You've come
yeah,
this far in the story.
yes.
So it's beautiful to witness. It's a fun journey for us to play in, to reflect on, and every single time I recognize a story of my own, which is really the fun, for me and this personally is, oh, I recognize that story. And it was before I knew about GNM. I had a similar story with my first rescue, and I immediately, Teddy, the image is coming, and I'm going, oh yeah, I remember that, and I didn't know what I know now, but in that story line at the time, it's what brought me here. It's what brought me to become an end of life doula for animals because of that. Because I didn't know to leave it, I did, I intervened differently, but not the way I would have just let it go now. Let it flourish, let it grow through and express. Um, anyway, so it all has its quintessence overall in the end. But I thank you for sharing it out loud, because I'm sure there are others who will be touched by this, and it speaks to, it gifts that panic and terror and fear when we're witnessing something that we don't think we have the expert within us to settle
Mm.
into and trust, or the expert, even if we don't think it's in us, in the animal, that this is happening for a reason. And this is where, the quintessence comes, where we can rely on this. It's one cue, it's happening for a reason, there's an adaptation happening, and then it's the question of, am I willing to trust this, whatever this is, without the other thoughts and people, as you say. I mean, there'll be the thought patterns and projections of people. You got to do this, ah, and sometimes you go with it, and sometimes, there's a point where you say, I don't know, I've done all the other ways and that didn't work, and so maybe I'll trust this. And that's the moment that door opens, and you have a perfect story for that. As I'm just going to trust the process, and what happens? Healing, resolution. He's here to prove it, to talk about it.
He
So,
certainly is. Yeah, that's
yeah.
exactly right. And I guess that was the beginning of my healing too, was that I was very external. So I was asking everybody, what's wrong with me? Can you tell me what's wrong with me? Oh, can you have an opinion? Can you tell me what's wrong with me? Until I actually was like, oh my goodness, it's like having 20 voices in my head and going, I still don't know what's wrong with me. I know, but I don't know. So it was kind of that part of at my life where I decided to stop the external noise, just just pull it up. And that had to be a voice that came from in. I had to have the internal voice, but I never knew that I had that voice. So once I actually got the internal voice that could actually say, hey, 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 quiet, everyone, calm down, settle. I'm just going to come back in and ask someone I haven't never asked. So that was the beginning of my journey, was when the emotion code and the body code came along, is when I was absolutely done, just absolutely done. And so, it was given to me and I was told, you can do it yourself. And it was those words, you can do this yourself. And I said, you need to speak louder. What did you say? I can do it. I can do this. And I'm the person was like, oh, I'm not sure. Can I? Oh, pretty pathetic with that one. I was like, oh, I don't know about that. But it was, and it resonated, those words. And I went, give it here. Give me a look at this thing. What is this thing? Where has it been? What is this? And it's so true. It changed my life. It's like, so that's where I was kind of like, okay, everyone just, it's okay. I'm just going to ask the expert. And
Uh,
for me to say that, for me to actually turn around and say ever that I was the expert when I was told there was no expertise in me from birth.
mm,
Hey, what a gift. What the biggest gift and the biggest change in my life that so grateful as just yeah, just here to share and just here to like you say, just the pain. What you're in pain for the wrong reason. Like just, you're really suffering and you don't need to. I'm like all those years of suffering, I'm like, I didn't need to do that, did I? But like you say, it served a purpose. Even the failure from my dad serves a purpose. It did. When you talk about the small, that's how it is. It's like, okay, just get smaller. And the reason why I had to get smaller too was because there was abuse. So, you don't sort of grow larger through the abuse. You don't go put yourself up and big and out there to get abused. You tend to do the small thing as well. So yeah, it's been such a strong, powerful journey, and very thankful for all the gifts, and thankful for you guys for all that you do too. That's amazing what you're doing, your education program, just getting out there with this, and yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so, so much. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Tracy.
Mhm.
And just the peace that this offers, the option to see. And that's what people need. We need to see examples of healing, of how the body is the expert, how the body is capable, like it made this adaptation for a reason. And once the reason is resolved, that the tissues can restore to wholeness. And the fact that his face has restored to wholeness is
Yeah.
incredible and brilliant and so like the peace that that can bring. So instead of going to the place of fear and the place of, okay, well, we're just going to cut your life off early because we don't know what to do, this just offers a different path. And yes, it's so amazing. The five biological laws, it changes everything. And all the tools that people are using, it's like you have to use your tool. You can use your tools, but use it with the laws, with the biology, with the adaptations, with the tissues, and you'll be able to get so much more efficient and so get right to the core of the issue. And so it sounds really cool, the work that you're doing. So we'd love to, share if you, or want to share your information with the audience. We'd be happy to put that in the show notes because, yeah, I mean, more good-hearted people using the biological laws with whatever, work that they're doing. We are so happy to share that.
Oh, thank you. It's been lovely, lovely to be a part of it. Awesome.
Amazing. Well, thank you all for listening to the AniMirror podcast. We will see you again next time. We hope that the messages from today's episode landed with you. Your animal knows, nature knows, your biology knows.
Everything reflects you. Every symptom, sensation, and synchronicity. It's all a mirror.
If you're ready to go deeper, join us inside the full 15-module AniMirror course or come alive with us in the next AniMirror live experience. You can check animirror.com for upcoming dates.
You can also book a private AniMirror immersion with both of us if you want to dive deeper and more privately. If you wish, contact us at support@animirror.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the AniMirror podcast on YouTube and Spotify.
Until next time, if you dare to be willing to look into the mirror, we're here.